record on. Okay, and I'll go back to sharing my screen. There we go. Good morning, everyone. You've been very patient, those that showed up early, and I do appreciate that so many of my rising seniors are here this morning. So yay, thanks for joining me on this Saturday morning. I'm going to jump right in. We have a lot to cover in 2 hours, so just bear with me. I'm going to blaze through it. I am recording this, so you can refer back to it. Really what I want to accomplish today is to give you this wonderful overview of the WOW writing method. The WOW writing method is a 10-step process that will, with me as your guide, take you through 10 steps to write your personal statement that is required for the common application. And that will, the same process will serve you well as you write your University of California personal insight questions, as you write other college supplemental essays. So let's go ahead and get started with, here we are in a essay writing boot camp. I am going to ask you to do a little bit of writing. So for 5 minutes, I'd like you to look at the prompts here on the screen. And I want you to answer the question, I'm the kind of person who, fill in the blank. And then I want you to share a story or example from the last year, basically, junior year, that illustrates that. Here's an example right above that. So I'm the kind of person who never gives up in the face of a challenge. And then a story that illustrates that statement is, last Saturday, I spent 5 hours helping my little sister build a treehouse. Neither one of us knew exactly what we were doing, but between YouTube videos and some basic carpentry skills, I figured it out, and also taught her how to measure, saw, and hammer. So go ahead and take 5 minutes, if you will, and fill in the blank. If you finish within 5 minutes, go ahead and come up with another, I'm the kind of person who, and then come up with another story example. So go ahead and on your laptop, pen and paper, your notepad, your iPad, whatever you have to type today to write, go ahead and start that assignment. I'm going to give you just 5 minutes to get that going. And if you have any questions, please put them in chat, because I do want to keep microphones off and videos off for privacy's sake today. Okay, the timer has started. couple more minutes. We're about halfway done. And I'm looking for you to fill in the blank. I'm the kind of person who, and then share a story or example that illustrates that. A few more seconds and then I'll have you stop this exercise and I'll explain why it was important. Okay, let's go ahead and stop writing at this point if you haven't already. And the purpose of this first exercise is to introduce you to the concept of theme. In very general terms, your personal statement that you're going to have to write for your common application needs a theme. And a theme must have two important elements. It must answer the question, what happened and why does it matter? The what happened is the experience or the story, the example that you did in that second half. The why does it matter? That is the characteristic of you that the story illustrates. So the words that you use to fill in the blank are most likely positive characteristics, right? I'm the kind of person who never gives up in the face of a challenge. That's a positive characteristic. And that answers the question, why does it matter? Okay, so that we've met the first criteria required for a theme in this essay. And then the story that you hopefully were able to come up with, the example that illustrates what kind of person you are, is a story that illustrates that characteristic, and that tells us what happened. So that's the second element that must meet the criteria for theme. And a theme is crucial to having a strong personal statement that communicates who you are and why that matters to the college admissions officers. So that's why I had you do this particular exercise. So go ahead and put that aside, whatever that looks like, on your laptop. If it's a piece of paper, go ahead and move move on with that. Then we are going to move on to your morning writing voice. So this exercise is all about finding your voice. One of the reasons that I took this class, that I signed up for this program, that the WOW method and the people that designed it are professional college essay writers. They've been doing this for decades, and they have trained thousands of us over the years. And I finally took the leap to follow their method because in the past, I don't feel like it wasn't working. I felt that I was interjecting my voice, which is significantly older than your voice, into my student essays. That was not good. It wasn't a good feeling for me. I didn't want to do that, right? That completely changes what a college admissions officer is seeing and reading. These essays need to have your voice, not your parents, not your English teachers, not your friends, not anybody else but yours. So we're going to do an exercise today that is going to help you find your voice. So what I'd like you to do, let me get to my notes here to make sure I walk you through it right. Just to reiterate, you, of course, have a unique voice, and a personal statement offers you a very valuable opportunity to showcase it. You want your personal statement that's going to go in your college application to communicate who you are and why you are unique and why you will be a wonderful asset to that college. So this essay, that's basically the job of it. Now, the elements of your writing voice include things like the word choices that you use, the images that you create with words, the details that you choose to include, and even your sentence structure. Those are the elements that are basically going to make up your writing voice. So now let's go ahead and get this particular exercise started. I'm going to ask you to answer the question that you see on the screen. What did you do this morning from the time you woke up? Here are the rules. It's a journaling activity. So I want you to think about your morning this morning, not mornings in general, not yesterday, just this morning from the time that you opened your eyes to sitting here right now. I want you to write down what you saw, what you heard, what you smelled, what you felt. And I want you to use details so that you say something along the lines of, instead of saying, I ate breakfast, I ate vanilla down in yogurt with a plastic spoon because all the silverware was still in the dishwasher or dirty in the sink, or right, whatever those details are. I want you to write as fast as you can. Don't try to be creative. That's not the purpose of this exercise. Just write. You don't even have to worry about making sense. Just write. Don't cross anything out. Don't try to self-correct as you're typing or handwriting. Just write. Don't even think about writing in full sentences. That's not, again, not the purpose here. Just scribble down whatever comes to mind. Images, fragments, sights, smells, tastes, sounds, textures, memories, associations. Don't stop. If you get stuck, keep going. List whatever comes to mind when you recall your morning from the time you woke up. I'm going to give you 10 minutes to complete this exercise. So again, please pull out a new piece of paper, begin writing, answer this question, or if you want to complete it on your laptop, that's great too. But this will take 10 minutes and off you go. please keep writing. We're about halfway through the time I dedicated to this. This is a really important exercise. So remember, it's journaling. You don't need to be creative. You don't need to have complete sentences. You don't need to overthink it. Just please keep writing. Okay, my friends, I'm going to renege and stop you a teensy bit earlier than the 10 minutes. Hopefully you won't mind too much. So go ahead and stop writing and let me share with you what I wrote when I had to do this assignment. So I have gone through all 10 steps of the WOW method, and that was how I learned what I'm going to be teaching you. And I can tell you right now that it was a daunting experience because I'm used to teaching students about writing the personal essay. I had not yet written one of my own. So I have now done that, and I have lots of empathy for you. But this really was a very easy to follow process and broke down a pretty daunting project into little steps. So real quickly, let me share with you what I wrote. I stretched to work out the stiffness in my back. I took my morning medication, sipping water before the bitter taste of Synthroid hit my tongue. I saw that it was still dark outside, still quiet, still cold. Made coffee, one of my favorite rituals of my morning. 2 cups every morning. I love the hot liquid that warms my entire body with its strong, bold taste. No cream or sugar to dilute its pungent goodness. I sat in my usual spot on the couch with a pillow against my back to support my low back, a soft, thick blanket covering my feet, legs, and upper body, keeping the morning chill off me while I do my daily devotions. I read the Bible verses for the morning, meditate on their meaning, then write out my responses to the questions in my workbook. My coffee keeping me alert and engaged with the material. The house still completely quiet except the hum of the heater kicking on and the rhythmic breathing of my small dog, Apollo, curled up next to me. After nearly 2 hours, wow, the time goes so fast in the morning. I get dressed and begin making my morning smoothie, cold frozen fruit and spinach added to a splash of almond milk. Next, I add protein and collagen powder with its powdery puffs spreading across my clean counters, giving me my first fleeting irritation of the day. I blend it for a good minute or more so that the spinach is pulverized and not gritty in my mouth and no stems catch in my teeth. The cold, creamy goodness fuels my mind and my stomach, getting me ready for the work of the day. So that was my morning. Now I want you to go back and I'm going to have you do this one more thing, and that's going to help us find your writing voice. So look at what you just spent the last 8.5 minutes writing. And I want you to, hold on, let me get my notes. I want you to go back through it. And I would like you to mark 2 or 3 really great details from your journaling. The idea is to find fresh images, ideas, or bits of language. Each one could be one word or an entire chunk of text. It could be a fun description or something you always say. There are no right or wrong choices. These details should be things that differentiate you in some way. Maybe it's because of the experience that you wrote about or the word choice. But again, go back through what you just wrote, highlighting, underlining, whatever tools you have. I want you to pick out 2 to 3 great details from your journaling. I'm going to give you just a couple minutes to do that, and then we'll finish up this part of the exercise. So go ahead and go through. Okay, a few more seconds. Then you're looking for 2 to 3 great details from your journaling. Fresh images or ideas, bits of language. Something you always say, your voice in there. Okay, I'm going to ask you to stop there. Hopefully you found a couple. I'm sure you did. Here is what I found when I had to do this step. I made coffee, one of my favorite rituals of my morning, 2 cups every morning. And then you'll see the rest of it. And I thought this demonstrated my writing voice because I tend to I like to write in short, punchy sentences when I'm communicating, especially telling a story. So that was the first section that I chose. and I had a lot of just a lot of adjectives in that particular string of sentences. So I felt that that was some pretty good writing. Kind of brought you into how I like my coffee. And then the second part was the kind of what it's like if you were to see me sitting on the couch in the morning, early in the morning, me and my little white dog, kind of thing. I felt like the second paragraph brought the reader in and told them about a little bit about me. And then the third paragraph I thought was, I highlighted because I thought it was kind of funny in that, here I've got this protein powder and it's healthy for my body, but it's annoying because it does put up this plume of whatever it is. But hopefully nothing toxic. It's supposed to be super healthy. But anyways, so those powdery puffs on my clean kitchen counter, the first fleeting irritation of the day. I don't know. I just thought that was pretty good writing. So that's what I chose. And that is an example of what I was asking you to do in this exercise. Would anybody be brave enough to, and willing to share maybe one of their examples? All you would have to do is copy it and paste it and put it in chat, and I could read it. Any takers? If no one's brave enough, we'll move on, but I think I've got some fearless people out there. What do you think? No one? That's okay. Well, hopefully you're doing these writing assignments, because ultimately you are going to have to do them and turn them into me. Not today, but when we actually start writing these essays. Okay, I will let you off the hook. So let's move on to the WOW method. Let me switch screens. Hold on one second. I need to get to the right. Bear with me. Okay, so now I'm going to go to giving you an overview of the 10 steps that comprise the WOW method. So hopefully you have this printout. This is actually page number 2 in your printout. So again, everybody should have received an email with all the printouts. You can download them, print them out, put them in a folder, whatever's easiest for you. But basically, let's take a look at what we're what you see here. So there are 10 steps to writing an effective college essay. And if you look at these little paragraphs explaining each one, you can see that you will not even get to the first draft of your personal statement until step 5. And there's really good reasons for that. But that is going to ultimately get a much stronger draft and not just some undirected kind of willy-nilly writing. It's going to be a much better product for us to then refine and craft into your ultimate essay. So we will go through each of these steps together. You are going to commit to a series of 4 weeks, consecutive weeks, to go through this process with me. Ideally over the summer. You want to try to get this essay written before you go back to school and things get really hectic all over again. Some of you have already chosen your writing schedule, and we've got that ready to go. But for those of you that haven't, I'm going to tell you what the next steps are so we can get that booked essentially before many more days go by. Okay, so that is what the 10 steps of the WOW method look like, and you can read those in greater detail on your handout. So now let's move on to the importance of knowing your audience. Knowing your audience is, I'm sure you've learned in your English classes or whatever classes you're taking where you've been taught writing, you obviously need to know who will be reading this report, this research report, this essay. And that is equally important for your college essay. So I am going to try to, hold on. Darn it. I had this all, oh, it's under more, I think. Wait, sorry. I had, I thought I could write on here. Oh, there it is. I had practiced this where's my whiteboard? I don't see my whiteboard option. Maybe that is only available if I'm not recording. That doesn't seem to make sense to me. Okay, my bad. I don't see it. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to go ahead and turn that off and let me open up a Word doc and we'll do it that way. So bear with me, guys. You know you're my guinea pigs, right? This is what we're doing as I get familiar with teaching the WOW method. Okay, so here we go. I don't have the whiteboard, but I'm just going to do it here. So the first thing we need to know about audience is what and why. So the what is a college essay and why are you writing one or 2 or 10, depending on how many schools you're applying to. So there's probably, maybe you're not even sure why you have to write this particular essay, or maybe you're not even sure what the essay is. So let me go ahead and share this with you so that you do know. So the college essay is a story about you. And this essay that we're going to be going through is ultimately must be a story about you, not about your twin, not about your grandparent, not about your teammates. It has to be about you. So there will be a constant focus to make sure that this story is about you. And you're not writing about a topic. Each person is writing about an experience and what that experience demonstrates about them. So if you remember way back at the very beginning, when we wrote this, the first thing we wrote this morning was, I'm the kind of person who, and then you shared an example. So the that is basically what I mean by you will be writing about an experience and what that experience demonstrates about you. This essay will not be or should not be about a vacation, any kind of internship, even an illness. It's an opportunity to share an experience that demonstrates something positive about you. So let's write that down. Share an experience that demonstrates something positive about you. And it's again, you, you're the key here. That's all we want to know about. These characteristics will help readers understand why you would be a good student and what you learned from a particular experience, etc. Okay, so that's the what. Now let's talk about the why. Why are we writing this personal statement? Well, I'm going to go ahead and type these up real quick. It's to, I'll even put bullets here. The why is to illustrate at least one positive trait or characteristic. Now, I've known many of you for many, many months, and I know that each of you have hundreds of positive traits and characteristics. But this essay, we're going to focus on a few. So that's obviously what we're talking about here. You're going to choose 1, 2, 3 characteristics or positive character traits that you want the colleges that you're applying to know about you. Okay. The why is also, believe it or not, to demonstrate your writing skills. Well, surprise, or no surprise, I'm just being silly, but definitely no surprise. You're applying to college. They expect you to have a certain level of writing skill, and they will be looking for that in your essay. So that's also why we want to start this over the summer and give you lots of unhurried, unrushed, hopefully less stressful time to do your best writing for this particular assignment. Okay, the other why is to demonstrate reflection. This is probably the one that students dislike the most because this requires that you look inward. This requires that you pause and think about what it is that you're trying to communicate to the colleges. Why does this story matter? Why do these characteristics matter? And that takes time to sit quietly and reflect and think about why it matters. So usually you guys are all so busy with your schoolwork, being good members of your community, your family, siblings, and then doing all your extracurriculars. You don't have a lot of time for self-reflection, and that's a shame, but this essay requires it. So that is another thing that will happen through these 10 steps. And then finally, the why is to show you will make a successful college student, right? If you're telling the school that you are, what did we look at this morning? We found out that the person in the example never gives up in the face of a challenge. And she used the story of helping her little sister build a tree house despite not having much knowledge at all about how you might go about building a tree house. But that story demonstrated and shared an experience that demonstrated the positive trait that this young woman never gives up in the face of a challenge. Well, that is something that will definitely make a successful college student, because college indeed will be challenging. There will be lots of things that challenge you in college and beyond, but the college wants to make sure that you will be the kind of person that can pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and keep going. So as an example, that's why that is a particular trait that maybe you'll end up talking about as well. But you have your own traits that you're going to want to share with the college. So anyways, let me move on. The last piece of this is the who. And who are you writing this to, right? Who's the audience? Well, I think you know that it is an admissions counselor. And the important things to know about an admissions counselor is there's two really important things to know about them. They read during what they call the season, the reading season, they read college applications all day. And they read them quickly. They have to. They've got, you've seen the numbers, you've heard me even talk about them. You can see the numbers on Custom College Plan when you bring up colleges. They get tens of thousands, in some cases, hundreds of thousands of applications. They have to go through these really quickly. So how do you stand out in your application when you have seconds to make a strong impression, seconds to grab their attention, maybe a minute or two to communicate and demonstrate something positive about you? That is, again, why we are going to be going through this 10-step process, because we have this essay has to meet all this criteria. So it's got a lot of heavy lifting to do, and it's better done if we break it down into these smaller assignments. Okay, now I'm going to shift gears to this next page. So we talked about know your audience. Now we're going to move into understanding the prompt. Okay, and I know you're going to have a lot of questions about all of this. So please don't worry. Again, we're going to be going through this together with me as your guide, every step of the way, all 10 steps broken down, each of you individually. Today, the purpose of today was to give you this overview so that you wouldn't be completely surprised when I started talking about theme and when I, talked about understanding the prompt and breaking it down, all this kind of stuff. You have to know where we're going so that it won't be so perhaps unsettling as we go through the journey together. Okay, so let's now dig into understanding the prompt. Let me just read here that when you decide which of the 7 Common App prompts you're going to choose one of them. When you decide which one you're going to write on, you have to know what it's asking. And as you answer it, obviously, you will want to try to be specific, clear, direct, and don't worry about being unique, because you are unique and your writing voice will communicate the fact that you are unique, and that will you will shine through with that. Okay, let me come down to your voice will differentiate you. All right, I need to now move quickly into the next section of this morning's boot camp, because we're at the top of the hour. So we've already been together for an hour, and we've still got quite a bit to cover. So now I want to shift gears to understanding the prompt. So the Common App will give you these instructions, right? You'll see this when you log into the Common App. It gives you some tutorials. And it basically says the essay demonstrates your ability to write clearly and concisely, and helps you distinguish yourself in your own voice. You know, what do you want the readers of your application to know about you apart from your courses, grades, and test scores? Then it says, choose the option that best helps you answer that question, and write an essay of no more than 650 words, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so that's what you'll see when you log into the Common application, if you were to go look at the essay piece of it. And then sorry about this blue line, I don't know how to get rid of it, and I don't want to spend a lot of time messing around. So try to just ignore it, and I will as well. So these are the 7 prompts that the Common App presents. And like I said, students, you have to choose one of them. So how do you choose amongst the 7? There's probably more than one that would allow you to accomplish this. There's more than one that would allow you to share a story about you and share an experience that demonstrates something positive about you, right? But we want to choose, well, of course, hold on, bear with me. We want to choose the one that, you know, that where you're going to be able to tell the strongest story. Okay, so let me move to the next slide. And when we look at these questions through the lens of theme, which is what happened and why does it matter, you can see that I've highlighted the words in each question that correspond to what happened. That's the yellow. Why does it matter? That's the blue. So for some, using the first one as an example, some students have a background, identity, interest, or talent that is so meaningful, they believe their application would be incomplete without it. If this sounds like you, then please share your story. So the first part that you have to figure out is what happened. What about your background, your identity, your interest or talent is so meaningful to you that that's the story you want to tell. You want to talk about an interest that you have that is extremely meaningful to you, that you spent a lot of time doing over the years, and that you can communicate through a story to the admissions officers, you know, why that particular talent or that background is so meaningful to you. And then basically I parsed the other prompts in the same way. So rather than going through each one, I'm going to give you a moment to look that over. The last prompt, share an essay on any topic of your choice. It can be one you've already written, one that responds to a different prompt, or one of your own design. That one we will proceed with cautiously. I don't usually have students that use that. It was added by the Common App about 5 years ago as a way for students who lack any guidance to maybe upload an essay that they did in their English class, a writing assignment that they got a good grade on, and that's what they have, that's what they can come up with. So, so that we would probably, I wouldn't recommend that being your first choice, but it is an option. So that's why it is not highlighted, basically. Okay, let me catch up here with my notes. Make sure I'm on the right side with you guys. So we're doing handouts, understanding the prompt, emphasize that the key notifications for, okay. So, if you, let's see, in your handouts, if you could grab, let me see which one you should have. So you should have all of the prompts. You should have on page 3 of the prompts I gave you. Yes. So page 3 will have all of the essay prompts on them. So from your handouts, student handouts, page 3, if you could pull that out. And you can, what I want you to do is just remember that that the key, of course, is going to be to know what the prompt is really asking. And in every case, we want the readers to understand something about you. So why don't you take just a few, maybe 1 minute, and underline, circle, or highlight keywords and phrases of each of these. And I went ahead too fast. I gave you the answers in the highlighted slide, but go ahead and that's fine. Go ahead and just 1 through 6, run a highlighter or underline those key phrases, those keywords that you can see are what are what are key to understanding what this question is really asking. And that would be an exercise worth a few seconds of your time. So go ahead and spend a few minutes doing that. Okay, so you can see where I gave you the answers, but and I apologize, guys. I am just catching up with where we are in the curriculum here. There's a lot. It's pretty dense. Let me get back to, we did focus on the theme. Okay, 12, 13, okay, brainstorm ideas. Page 9. All right, so let me move on. But that little exercise again gave you an opportunity to try to identify ultimately what each question is asking. Okay, so now I want to focus on the difference between characteristics and accomplishments. So when you are sitting down to respond to the prompt, you want to think about what the readers already know about you. So they will have already read the rest of your application. They will know that you play a sport. They will know what your position is on that team. They will know that you are part of student leadership. They will know that you volunteer at your church. They will know that you are involved in theater. They will know all those things because they've read your application, and now they want to know who you are, right? But they know about your accomplishments. That's different than characteristics. Readers want to know what kind of person you are. They want to know what kind of leader are you on your student leadership team. They want to know what kind of player you are on your sport team. They want to know what kind of volunteer are you. What does that look like? They want to know what kind of participant in theater, so on and so forth. They don't know the type of person you are, the how you do things, the how you approach problems, how you solve problems. That's ultimately what they're after in these prompts. So in short, I want you to think about and understand that there's a difference between accomplishment, the what you have done, and characteristics, the who you are. Okay, so now I want to ask you to fill in this worksheet. And that is this guy. So this is page 8. If you don't have it printed out or on your computer, you can just look up here and refer to this. But I want you to write down first, answer the question, what would pretend you've already completed. Well, most of you, we've been working on your activities resume. So list that, right? List those things. What will the reader have already read about you on your activities list? So you can jot those down. Then the second half of this writing assignment is, what do you want the readers to know about you? And then I've given you some examples. You're confident, you don't give up. You used to be a follower, but now you've become a leader. Anyways, you can read this for yourself. I am creative. I love a challenge. Think about how others might describe you. What kind of person are you? And then, of course, stay positive because you're wonderful, you're unique and amazing. And yeah, let's jot that down. So go ahead and I'm going to give you 5 minutes to do this. Step 1, list your accomplishments. Step 2, what do you want readers to know about you? What kind of person are you? Go ahead and spend a little bit of time doing that now. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and have you stop there, and I'm gonna ask for another or a brave volunteer. You guys don't have to reveal who you are, right? No one can see you. So if somebody would be willing to share what they wrote down for characteristics, I would love to talk about that. I've got some 13 brave people out there. Somebody surely could copy what they wrote. What do you want readers to know about you? And how might others describe you? What kind of person are you? Anybody? I've got very shy people today. That's okay. That's the power of Zoom, I guess. We get to kind of stay behind our screen. All right. Well, hopefully you had a chance to get some stuff down, and I want to reiterate that what we just did in that exercise, let me show you, is understand the prompt. So that's step one of the WOW method. Before choosing a topic, you should understand what the prompt is asking and how the essay fits into your application. That means reflecting on what readers already know about you and thinking about what they can't find out from the rest of your application. So that's why I asked you to do that. And I think I do have somebody. Yay. Okay. So one of the students said that, let me get, I think this is the whole thing. So, hold on, my friend. Characteristics. So one of the students is sharing characteristics, and they write, friends describe me as a force, quote unquote. Force is in quotes. Friends describe me as a force. The second thing, leader when needed. The third thing, bright. Stand up for what I believe in. Okay, well, there we go. So that is, those are some examples of what this student would possibly want to share with the college admissions people that are going to be reading this, right? Those are things that wouldn't be understood, that are not visible, if you will, from this student's activity list, from their courses and grades. It might show up in a letter of recommendation, but we don't know. Letters of recommendation are talking about how your teachers are going to talk about how you are in the classroom. So for these characteristics, the student could, I'm sure, remember stories from this past year that would illustrate what it looked like for them when they are a force or when they stand up for what they believe in. So great example of this exercise. Thank you so much for sharing. I appreciate that. Okay, if I don't have any other brave souls that would like to share, that's okay. Let's go ahead and move on. Now we're going to go, I would offer you breaks, and if you have to take a break, I'll let you just manage that on your own. But we're going to keep powering through because I've got you for about 45 more minutes, and I still have quite a bit to cover. So let me just keep talking. Now we're going to move into brainstorming ideas, right? So the step number 2. let me catch up with our slides and go there. Okay, so this is going to be where we're going to spend the rest of our time together is really looking at brainstorming ideas. Okay, so just getting my notes here. What could you write about to answer your prompt? So we have these prompts, right? And I'll give you the cheat sheet version of them. So these are the what happened and why does it matter highlighted. And now I'm going to give you a chance to brainstorm a few different ideas for different prompts. So ideally, you again hopefully printed out the documents that I shared with you in the email, and I'd like you to refer to pages 9, 10, and 11. And on pages 10 and 11, you're going to actually be able to write some stuff down. And this is again just trying to get you to think through what is being asked in these prompts and what story you might have to talk about how you the story you would use to illustrate, pardon me, you know, the characteristics that you're going to talk about as you answer a given prompt. So we're going to be, you can choose from these 6 prompts. You've got 4 places where you can jot down ideas on pages 10 and page 11 of your handout. If you only get through maybe 1 or 2 ideas, that's okay. I want you to give it a shot, right? And if you get through all 4, then you're going to have more to work with when you and I meet individually and do this one-on-one. But essentially, this part of the exercise is to look at, to choose one of, to choose a couple of the Common App questions and start brainstorming. Okay, so let me read this first part, kind of the instructions here. So I want you to write down several ideas. I want you to be very specific and include a few details for each idea. You might want to consider several different options from the choices the Common App offers. So the choices being the different prompts, right? So this first one is called a background story. The second one we refer to as a time when you experienced a setback. The third one is referred to as a time you challenged a belief, right, etc. This is something that made you happy or thankful in a surprising way story. So anyways, those are the different prompts. And if you could use, again, the blank pages I gave you on pages numbered 10 and 11 in your handout packet, and then following these examples, I'd like you to spend the next little while trying to fill it in. Okay, so say you choose prompt 1, the background story. Some students have a background, identity, interest, or talent, right? We looked at that. So if you choose that one, whoopsie, my bad. If you were to choose that one, you have to come up with what we call an anchor story. So what would be a story from this past year that you could think of that would illustrate your what ultimately you're going to tell them about, right? So what happened? What story could you come up with? Then some key details. So you've got this anchor story, you've got sort of the big idea, and then try to add as many details as you can think about. Again, here are some examples. And then this is crucial. What characteristics does this story illustrate? Because remember, every essay has to answer the questions, what happened and why does it matter? So here's the what happened and why does it matter? Maybe it's easier for you if you start with the what am I trying to accomplish? I don't know. For me, it was easier to start with knowing what I wanted to talk about, which prompt I wanted to answer. And as you read through these, at least for me, some stories jumped right out. I mean, I thought for me, what makes me unique is that I came into this profession as a result of my daughter being diagnosed with autism when she was very young. And ultimately, that was the introduction of my essay. And then I told the story of how I got to where I am now, and what that looked like and what that told the reader about me. So that was a story that leapt to mind, and whoops, my bad. So then I just, my first assignment, I started filling in all of this kind of stuff. So see if you can spend maybe, let's do 7-ish minutes. I don't want you to spend too long and it's kind of weary, but yeah, see if you can spend about 6-7 minutes trying to answer one. And if you have problems, please put that in chat and I'll try to address them. And does everybody have the handouts that I'm talking about? If you could put in chat, no, if you don't have them and you don't know what I'm talking about. Hopefully you do. If what, I don't see anyone, oh, someone's responding. Okay, yay, great, you guys have them. Okay, someone's just, good job. You guys are so good. I just love it. I have to tell you, the class of 2025, man, you guys are awesome. Oh, okay, so people have them, and I will stop talking. Good job. I messed up on you. Okay, so if you don't have them, as one of you didn't, just type prompt on one line, and then I would copy the prompt that you want to use, the question from the Common App prompt, and then type anchor story, and then type key details, and then type what characteristics does this story illustrate. So 1, 2, 3, 4, things you're going to fill in for each idea. I'd like you to spend a few more minutes on this. Again, you're trying to get a kernel, just a nugget of a story. And get those anchor stories. You may or may not use these when you come work with me individually, but a good start. Okay. I know you all have lots of ideas and are probably still frantically writing, and that's okay, but I'm gonna jump in again in the interest of time and shift us now to debriefing about this process of brainstorming ideas. So I want to again ask for volunteers. Don't make me pick on you. I don't want to pick on anybody. We had one brave volunteer. So maybe if I can get someone else just to share what they jotted down for one of their ideas. I'd love to try to just kind of break it down. What was the anchor story? What prompt were you talking about? What was your anchor story and some key details? What characteristics does this story illustrate? We've got these examples from the curriculum here on the screen. But that's kind of boring. It's not, I mean, those have been carefully curated. I'd rather have someone maybe share what they put down. Thank you. All right, so one of your friends, one of our students today, let me get this, the prompt, reflect on something that someone has done for you that made you feel happy or thankful. And in a surprising way. Okay, so the anchor story is the day my art teacher entered me into my first professional art contest. Nice. Okay. So that's good because it's one day, it's specific. It's, I can already tell from the story that it is a surprising because it was a surprise to be nominated for a professional contest of any kind, right? And especially when you didn't know it was going to happen. Great. Can you share some of the key details that you came up with? Thanks. Okay. Yeah. So go ahead and type those in and we'll see what kind of key details we've got about the day that the art teacher entered this student into her first professional art contest. Too bad it's not like instant messaging where you get the little dots, and you know people are typing. Uh, Amanda, are you still going to type some? Okay, here she goes. My bad. I'm just impatient. Um, okay, some key details. This was my first year of taking fine arts class. I was terrified that my artwork was not good enough. However, I continued to move forward with my art. Okay, all right. Thank you for sharing key details. So, okay, for my idea, I did. So, okay, so then someone else is sharing too. So let me spend a little bit of time on these key details about the art, um, uh, the idea of the art nomination. So again, you're brainstorming, and I've only given you a few minutes, but ultimately the details would need to obviously, well, your details would need to include, what it, maybe how you felt, right? Because the prompt is asking you, how you felt, um, when this event happened. So that would need to be included, that kind of specific introspective work about feelings. But you did get the fact that you were terrified that your artwork wasn't good enough, and then surprise, it was. Not only was it good enough, but it was good enough to be entered into a contest. So that's good. I think other key details that would be helpful, that would tell the reader about you, would be things like, what kind of art was it? What was it, a picture, a painting, a sculpture of, right? To tell us those kinds of details. That would be illuminating about you. And then, yeah, how you move forward with your art. What did that look like? So, and then of course, I know it's hard to share in chat, but what were the characteristics that pardon me, what characteristics did your story illustrate, like in your mind? I know you haven't fully fleshed it out, but Amanda, what characteristics? Still typing. And then we have another example. No, you're fine. Don't apologize. You're all good. Okay, so more key details. As I got to know my teacher, and she got to know you, right? She saw a lot of potential in your work. So she surprised you by stating that she chose students, including you, to enter an art contest. That was definitely a big surprise and an important detail. Yeah. So even, when you're actually writing, you'll want to include detail like, when did you find this out? Were you sitting in class? Were you, was it embarrassing? Was it exciting and thrilling and embarrassing? What was going on in the classroom? The details of the day as you found out about this nomination. Did that make your skin tingle because you were so excited? Did your heart start racing? I don't know, whatever kind of, again, detail as you are talking about how you felt with that wonderful surprise of being nominated. You'd want to give descriptive language about what the surprise felt like. Okay, good. Thank you for sharing. And then finally, characteristics that this story ultimately, the characteristics that this student wants to communicate via this story, this experience, is that she's driven, she's invested in her work and her art, right? And what she is passionate about. Art. Yeah. Good. Yeah, because that might not come through, that you're invested in your work. How would an admissions officer know that from your courses and grades and your activities? Not really. I mean, they'd see that you did lots of art, but, and maybe won an award or two, but they wouldn't know what it meant to you and why you do art. So that, great. That's a good example. Very good. Thank you so much for sharing. Okay, now I'm going to scroll back up, and one of our students wants to talk about prompt number 2, which, as a reminder, prompt number 2 is: the lessons we take from obstacles we encounter can be fundamental to later success. Recount a time when you faced a challenge, setback, or failure. And then key, why does it matter? How did it affect you? And what did you learn? So the student said, the story would be about my engineering competition, and I would describe the challenge that I faced. And because of those challenges, the challenges, learn how to better work around problems and find alternate solutions. Okay, alrighty. So that is, that's the anchor story. And then, well, I think is that the anchor story? Brandon? Or that's just your idea? And then can you share with us your anchor story and key details? If anybody types on a laptop or whatever, you can just copy and paste it so that you don't have to type it all out. I will give you a second, yes. Oh. If I had you guys all live on video and unmuted you, we wouldn't have these delays for getting things in chat. But I did not ask your permission before this session, if that's okay with everybody. So that's why we're doing it this way, because I did tell you and your parents that you would not be visible. And it's important for many students to have that privacy. They just, yeah, it's just important. So that's why we're doing it through chat. I thank you all for your patience while Mr. Brandon types up his anchor story and key detail. And then after Brandon shares, we'll kind of finish this part of the wrap up and move on to the very last item of the morning. So hopefully, while we're waiting for Brandon to type frantically, poor guy, let me just get to my notes here. Sorry, let's see. Oh my God. Here we go. Okay. So it's important that you keep in mind the one key question that underlines the process of choosing a topic. And that is, what do I want the readers to know about me? So that's why this worksheet is super helpful, because we've all got these great stories and examples, and we can come up with lots of cool details. But the what happened obviously is a key component, but ultimately we also have to answer, why does it matter? So that why does it matter is where you're going to end up including a lot of the positive character traits that you want the reader to know about you. So if you remember, when the very first exercise we did this morning, right? As soon as you logged in, I had you write or answer the question, I'm the kind of person who blank, and then I asked you to share a story or example that illustrates that. Well, basically, that process is very much what we were doing here, is getting you to illustrate, coming up with an identifying an anchor story to get you to illustrate at least one positive characteristic about yourself. So that's essentially what we're going to be working through in these 10 steps. Okay, I think we have some details here. Maybe not. Yes, we do. Hold on. Okay, so here are some of the details from the engineering student. One of the challenges was when our most important part was not shipped in time, and we had to improvise to make a solution. Okay, so I happen to know about this story already, but when I read that to the rest of you, I'm thinking your 12 peers, Brandon, don't know anything. Like you would have to give a lot more detail, right? So your detail would need to tell what was the part, why wasn't it shipped on time, and most importantly, what was the improvised solution? So that is moving from the general to the specific. Additionally, there had been many disagreements in my group about the overall project. So I found the compromise between the different ideas. So again, that would be the details of your story. What did people disagree on? How did you facilitate compromise among the group so that you guys ultimately could have a successful project? And I know you happen to have won a really snazzy prize. So it worked. And then from this experience, you learned that most everything there will be problems and that they can be solved in different ways. Absolutely, and really a very important lesson for a prospective engineer to have learned. And then, yes, yes, got it. No, and I appreciate that, Brandon. So Brandon's like, I would elaborate. And that, yeah, totally put him on the spot, poor guy. But anyways, the point being, with the examples that he shared of those details, then I use that to illustrate to the rest of you how you would want to move from the general to the specific when you're actually developing these ideas. Okay. Let us wrap up this part of the WOW experience, the WOW method. Okay, understanding the prompt. So honestly, hopefully after, the last many minutes, you have a better sense of the importance of this step, understanding the prompt. If we miss that step, then the rest of it is just going to be a lot of maybe great writing, but ultimately not answering the question. And what did we remember about college admissions officers? If you remember what I typed several minutes ago, they read essays all day long during reading season, and they read them quickly. So you don't have time to dance around the why does it matter piece of it. And you just have to get, you have to answer these questions right at the get-go, and develop this story that communicates succinctly positive character traits about yourself. So the first step in doing that is understanding the prompt. Okay, and then we brainstormed some great ideas, and all of you that didn't get a chance to share, just hang on to those because I'm going to have you actually go through this process again, one-on-one with me. So you've already got a nice little head start. So just keep those handy somewhere. Okay, so the last part that we're going to cover in the last few minutes, and I'm going to have to blaze through it, but it's this idea of focusing on theme. So every personal statement, as I've said several times already, has a theme. And that theme needs to include what happened and why does it matter. So let me get to the handout. We're not going to have time to do any more writing, just because I promised I would. Well, I don't know if I promised, but I'm going to try to get you out of here in the next few minutes. I know many of you have other things going on today. So let me just kind of wrap up this last piece. And I'm going to bring us to page 12, which is this guy. Focus on the theme. So go ahead and kind of skim through this as I'm reading through the presentation notes, if you will. And so it's important that in your examples that you just wrote down, that will want to be answering questions like, what does this experience or this story illustrate about you? And what makes your story unique? So what makes your story unique is going to come through your voice, and that's where your writing voice exercise is going to come into play. What makes your story unique will be the details that you add, right? That didn't happen to anyone else. They just happened to you. And so, you know, it's going to be important that as we go through each of these steps, that we always keep in mind the two most important things underlying what is pardon me, the two most important things of a essay theme, and that is what happened and why does it matter. You should be able to tell why you shared this story. And I'll just kind of, I'm going to stop sharing. Let's see, let me get to a different page. No, I'm just going to stop sharing. Okay, let me, how do I get, okay. Whoa, hold on. I don't want to show, I just show self view. I guess you just see me, little me. Okay, I'm not sure what you see, but I see me. Okay, sorry guys. So anyways, I'm going to have to bring our time together to an end, and I want to leave you with a couple of last ideas or thoughts, and that is that the topic, while important, what you ultimately choose to write on, is important, but know that anything can make a good topic. The topic does not need to be unique or unusual to be effective. What makes it unique and unusual is you. You are the subject of the essay. And this will be an opportunity for you to share something meaningful about yourself. The topic, or anchor story, is the first part of the theme, what happened. The theme is not a summary of the essay. It's a concise statement that helps the writer stay on track. So anyways, let's stop there. And we just today I wanted to get you through the first 3 steps of the WOW method. And now what I need you to do, for those of you that have not yet chosen your writing schedule, I need you to email me what your summer schedule looks like in pretty broad, you know, in specific dates. So please email me and let me know when you're not going to be in town because you're traveling with your family. Let me know when you're not going to be available because you have, you're taking, you know, a week-long program. I know some of you are going to be competing in competitions in different parts of the country, and others will be, you know, doing various programs on college campuses. Whatever it is, I need to know when you are available over the summer to focus on writing this essay. You need to be able to commit to me 4 weeks of time. So you don't necessarily have to be at home. You can be out and about, right? But or you can be visiting, you know, family in another part of the country or world. But you need to be able to still do those writing assignments, and the process takes 4 weeks. So I'm looking for a 4-week span between today and when you go back to school that you can commit to me. And that is going to be your personal statement writing schedule. So go ahead and send me emails, please, or send me messages through Custom College Plan. whatever's convenient for you. And then I will respond with a couple different timing options. And then you'll see these timing options have the WOW method broken down week by week, assignment by assignment, step by step. And then you'll go ahead and you'll choose yours, and that's what you'll commit to. And I'll copy your parents on it so that, you know, everybody's on the same page. And then once we get through this personal statement, you're going to have the skills and the tools that you need to quite too much more, I won't say easily because writing isn't easy, but to more simply tackle the other essays that are going to be required of you depending on what colleges you're applying to. Okay, I know that was a ton of information, and I appreciate you guys so much for hanging out with me on a Saturday for 2 hours. Many of you have just started summer break and you're like, wow, here I am 2 hours doing this class. But it's important, and your fall will be so much better if you are able to complete this assignment over the summer. So if you have any questions, please text me, email me, send me a message through Custom College Plan. I'll answer you right away, and we'll get your schedule set, and then we will, we'll just, you know, we can keep working on all of the elements of your common application and the UC application if you're going to be applying to UCs before you write your personal statement. So there's plenty to do, no fear. We can even work on brag sheets that you'll need to turn into your teachers in the fall if you haven't done that already. So plenty of work to do until we get to your writing schedule. Okay, it looks like I had one question before we hang up. I've got to thank you. Oh, you're very welcome. My pleasure. I hope that was at least a pretty solid overview of what we're going to be doing, but we're going to be doing it together, one step at a time, one-on-one. So please don't have any trepidation about the process. Okay? All right, everyone. Have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you super soon. Bye.